Okay. It's working. I have a few stories to tell you. You know I ramble before we start. So if you're new to this show, probably fast forward about 5 minutes and then we will get into talking about Matt Walsh. But it has been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you, and I've got something really interesting to tell you. A while back, I know you guys knew, like, office jobs and me sometimes don't work out so great. So I've been doing 1099 work for a while, and it's been really, really interesting. But one thing about it that's really interesting is you work from home. You know, you're lucky if you're wearing pants. You know what I mean? You're wearing a nice shirt, but like you're lucky if you're not in your underwear. So I don't normally put on makeup or anything like that for work, but I had a meeting right before here, but I was getting ready for the show and I hopped on the meeting and everyone was like, whoa. What's going on? You curled your hair, you're wearing makeup. So it was great. That was a lot of fun. I do have a meeting right after this show, so this will not be a terribly long show. So let's do a little bit of an update. First of all, if you are new here or not new but haven't done this yet, I would really appreciate hit the subscribe button. I'd love it. Even though I like totally lisped. Why does the word lisp have an S in it? God is just, sometimes God can be evil. Sometimes he likes to play jokes on us. But anyway, please do subscribe. I do like the like and share, but the subscribe is what I like the most. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. My name is Karen Ann Harlos on Twitter. I'm not your typical Karen. I am a Karen and camouflage. But last but not least, here's what I'd really appreciate. And I am going to pump this a lot lately. I really would appreciate your support on Patreon. If you've been following my escapades over the past, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months, you'll know that I've made some people not very happy. Let's just put it that way. And let me just tell you, I gotta tell you honestly, I'm sorry, this is gonna be hard. I'm gonna tell you honestly how I feel about making some people not very happy. Boo-hoo. I do what is right. Now, you don't have to agree with what I agree is right. Just know in your heart that I believe it. And if that costs me subscribers, that costs me money, that's just the way the world is. Because you want to know what my value system is? I'll show you my value system is. At the end of the night, I have to do this. And as long as I can look myself in the eye with integrity, I can go to bed and sleep like a baby. However, it has in fact cost me subscribers because I've turned against the cult. And what I mean by that is there is groupthink. And I'm not saying that to insult people who may still be in a group that I was once part of. There are still great people in that group. But it is just human nature to engage in groupthink. And the minute you depart from that, boy, does the love bombing stop. And boy, do they turn against you. And yes, it has financially hurt me. But you want to know what? That's okay. If you like what I'm doing, even if you don't like what I'm doing, but you like the fact that there are still people in this world that are willing to stand alone and do what they think is right, I would really appreciate it if you would become a patron of my show. It's patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty, or if you would give me super chats or super thanks, I would really appreciate it. I do absolutely need it at this time. And I'm going to do an unpaid sponsorship just because I happen to have this out. There's a couple brands that do this. One is Scentbird and one is Scentbox that I actually tried out because of Blair White. But these are fantastic. If you like fragrances, let me show you this little bottle. You get a subscription, you get to pick a few a month, and they send you these designer fragrances, and you can try them out for like super cheap. And I'm not paid by them. I just love this product. So Scentbird or Scentbox, if you want to sponsor my channel, I'll promote you every time. What flavor is this? Flavor is not the right word. I didn't bring my glasses, but I absolutely love it. And I keep it down here. I don't have my glasses down here, so I can't read it for you. But I've got like 15 of these upstairs, and I just love them. So anyway, they have them for men and for women, and I'm not paid to promote that. I just happen to love that product. But please, if you like what I do, patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty, or throw me a tip. I'm going to give you a brief update on what's going on LP wise. I really don't care so much. I'm not going to say I don't care, but I'm not the same person I was in 2021. You will not see me freaking out and breaking down. Those people in 2021, those awful people, did me a favor because they really toughened me up. Where just things, I'm very sanguine. That's the word I like to use. I certainly care very deeply, but I'm very sanguine about the whole thing. You win some, you lose some. I will cover the events, but not terribly deeply, because I want to cover world events. But there are a few things I would like to clear up first. And I really would love to see you in comments. And I do not know why my Stream Deck is not working. I really need to troubleshoot this, but please interact and comment. So we're going to do a few minutes of LP update, then we're going to get into the Mount Walsh thing. Now, when I first sued the Libertarian Party of Colorado, because they are violating member rights, you want to know something? Only tyrannical leaders think that they can violate the rights of 40,000 people, and not one person will stand up to them. But let me also tell you the shame of it. They violated the rights of 40,000 people, and only one person stood up. Now, other people complained, but they didn't do anything. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know whether it's political, personal, I don't know. Be that person. There's something in the Bible, and I think it was, crap, I can't remember the prophet. Somebody can tell me that in chat, where, God said, whom shall I send? And the prophet said, here am I, Lord, send me. Now, I'm not trying to have delusions of grandeur or anything like that, but be that person that says, here am I, send me. Whether you're a religious person or not, I am nothing special. But the world will never change if you do not fight back against injustice, whether you win or you lose. So what is going on with the Colorado court case is we do have a court hearing on Thursday. It's little old me, pro se. I don't have an attorney. I'll be going against an attorney. But here am I. Send me. Now, the chair of the Libertarian Party of Colorado had a great yuck all over Twitter, because me and my husband had to drive our happy ass nearly to the Nebraska border to serve them a second set of papers. I know some people are just really dumb about the law, but let me explain why. It had to be done because the Libertarian Party of Colorado was sued, and she was served by a professional process server as the registered agent for the Libertarian Party of Colorado. But even though it's the same person, she had to be served individually as herself in order to be named individually. The service of process fees were raised by me, by donors. I did not want to go to them for more money. So while it might seem academic and it might seem silly and ha, you can laugh on Twitter, we did have to serve her with the second set of papers. She might not have known the difference, but a good attorney would have known the difference. And then while my husband and I were just sitting there eating breakfast, her husband comes in all crazy and starts violently threatening us. That's not cool. I don't care what world you're in, that's not cool. Because we can't win no matter what. People will all over my case because I'm like, oh my God, we're out of money. How am I going to get her served? I don't want to use the Phillips County Sheriff because I don't like using the cops for anything. So instead, Wayne and I decided we were going to drive nearly 4 hours to just do it ourselves, and then we get violently threatened. Now, if you think that's cool, if you think that's funny, if you want to yuck that up on Twitter, you're just a terrible, terrible person. So I will give you an update as to what happens at the court hearing on Thursday. It's at 11 a.m. I think it's before Judge Goldberg. It was originally before Chief Justice Bowman, but he didn't have enough time. And again, it's just little old me against a professional attorney. Now let's get to Matt Walsh. I am going to stick on the screen again because, again, my stands have cost me patrons, and that's just the way it is. I'll do the show no matter what, but please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. I would truly, truly appreciate it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, the donors that I have gotten. I have had donors who paid for the filing fees for the suit, for the service of process fees, which are over $600. Like, she thinks this is funny. She wasted $600. Now, let me give you another story. I emailed her. I'm not going to name names because I'm not giving them the satisfaction, and said, will you please accept service by email? All of this could have been avoided if she just said yes. So you want to talk about me playing games? I bent over backwards. And she forced people to spend $600 for this nonsense. So if you want to start thinking about who's the bad guys here, there's the bad guy. Those are the baddies. You ever wonder, are you the baddie? Yes, you're the baddie. Okay, now back to Matt Walsh. I don't have any clips to play because I think I can adequately summarize what he had to say. If you go to my TikTok or you go to Twitter, you will see a little clip where Matt Walsh had said the Supreme Court has decided that flag burning is protected speech. I could make an argument otherwise. And it was that last part that really got me. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of burning flags. I'm not a huge fan of flags either. But I grew up in this country. I love my neighbors. I have friends I love. I like hold as an idol the flag, but I'm not going to say it doesn't make me uncomfortable when I see people doing that. Not because I think there's any special significance to it. It's just the way I was raised. It's just it's a piece of cloth, if you want to be honest with you. The real magic is in the community that you create. The minute you turn a piece of cloth into an idol that you have to fold a certain way and dispose of a certain way and salute a certain way. If you're a religious person, you have just substituted a symbol of a country for your God. And that is, in fact, what Matt Walsh has done. So what really got to me, it's unquestionably a free speech right to burn the flag. I won't be burning any flags anytime soon. I've been at a flag burning though, and I'm going to tell you about that. And it made me very, very uncomfortable. But we're going to get into that. But I'm not going to be burning any flags anytime soon. But that is, in fact, a constitutionally protected right. And for him to go, well, I can make an argument otherwise, I was like, yeah, I bet you can, you authoritarian theocrat. But the fact is, it got me thinking about the idolatry of a Catholic being so obsessed with a piece of cloth to think that that should be illegal. That is exactly what idolatry was in the first century. In the first century, you had the Roman eagle, you had the Roman ensigns that they were sacred. and we treat the flag just that way. But let me get into some of his more interesting arguments. So at first he just said that should be blanket illegal. I obviously do not agree. Burning the flag should not be illegal. But he said something else that was more alarming to me. It was more alarming to me because it was truthful. But it was more alarming to me because it pointed to a larger problem. This may seem like a rabbit trail, but it really isn't. Remember when they got Al Capone? They didn't get him on any of his alleged violent crimes that libertarians even would think were violent crimes. They got him on tax evasion. And what Matt Walsh is advocating is we could throw the book at flag burners. We just need to enforce other laws on the books. So, kind of like how marijuana was originally made illegal, some of you may not know this. When marijuana was first made illegal in the United States, it wasn't that it was made illegal. It was that you had to buy a certain tax stamp for it. You can look these up. And they were so difficult and prohibitive to get that it functionally made marijuana illegal. So what Matt Walsh is advocating is not making flag burning illegal per se, but making it so prohibitively difficult to do that it is de facto illegal. So the first thing he said is that nobody does this in private or on their own land. So he agreed, he actually made a libertarian argument that if you own the flag and you're doing it on your own property, who cares? I agree with him. And then he went on to make the argument that the only people who burn flags want to do it for the public spectacle. So they're doing it on public property, which I don't believe exists to begin with. So there's your first problem. And that they are violating various laws in the burning of said object. Not because of what the object is, but because of the act of burning. So his argument was enforce arson laws against them, or enforce and throw the book at them, laws against burning things in public, and you therefore have de facto outlawed flag burning. Now, he rightly pointed out that if you went out in public and burned the pride flag, they would do that to you. Yes, that's true, but that's not what we're talking about right now. I agree with him. Laws aren't applied justly. Okay, I know some people are going to get really mad at me and thinking I'm getting all woke with this, but this is just in fact true. Look at the penalties for powder cocaine and crack cocaine. What are the differences? It's typically affluent white people who use powder cocaine, and it's poorer white and black people. It's more of a class issue that use crack cocaine, yet the penalties are higher. So you want to talk to me about disparate treatment of laws? You've got no argument here. But the subject we're talking about right now is burning the American flag. So he's like, throw every arson law on the book at them the way they would do if you were burning a pride flag or a trans flag or whatever it might be. Well, can you get a permit for it? You should be able to. It's not difficult to safely burn something in public. Get a trash bin. Get a fire pit. I don't know. Do it that way. So basically he's saying find any other law you can to indirectly punish the activity you don't like. And that is one of the attitudes that is so wrong with this country. And it's funny, he would not agree with that when it comes to gun ownership, because isn't that what anti-gun people are saying? We don't want to outlaw guns. We just want it to be possible to sue gun manufacturers if you do something bad with it. that will de facto outlaw guns. Or we don't want to outlaw guns. We just want to make you have to carry an insurance policy that very few people will be able to afford. That will de facto outlaw guns. And it's the same thing with these public demonstrations of flag burning. But of course, I'm a crazy libertarian. I don't believe in these specific laws. For instance, oh my God, I better take a drink now. I'm warning you, you take a drink right now, because if you haven't been around very many libertarians, what I'm going to say is going to shock you a little bit. I don't believe in drunk driving laws. It's not that I believe that it should be okay to drink and drive. I don't think you need these specific laws. I actually have no problem with somebody being out drunk driving if they're not endangering anyone. If there's not a damn person on the street anywhere, they're nowhere near any buildings, who are they harming? But the fact is, they normally are. I just think you need one blanket law against reckless endangerment of life, and that covers everything from women putting on their mascara to somebody being tanked, okay? So when it comes to public burning, there should just be a law against public endangerment, because again, that can include a lot of different things. You don't need a specific law against burning something. And yes, you can safely burn something. If someone wants to do a public demonstration where they're burning a flag, it can be safely done. But he's wrong on another point, and this is what made me want to do this show. He said people only do this for the spectacle or the shock value of all these other people who are unwilling spectators to this event. First of all, there's no such thing as public property. If you're on public property, you're spectators to a lot of events. But the fact is, that's just not true. Because as I mentioned to you earlier, I've been at a flag burning event. I didn't organize it. Wasn't like why I went. But where was this flag burning event? This was in 2021, as a matter of fact, at PorkFest. At a private event on private property with maybe 40 sympathetic people there. It wasn't some public spectacle, and they in fact didn't burn a pride flag later, and it was a gay guy that did it, actually. Both things made me uncomfortable, to be honest with you. But it was this huge bonfire that they had a permit to build at PorkFest. I don't know if they've done it other years. I just know it was at this year. In 2021, they made a big deal out of burning the flag, and it wasn't televised anywhere. It wasn't in front of a bunch of normies that it would shock. It was in front of like a bunch of radical libertarians who didn't think twice about it. I was probably the most uncomfortable person there. And that was it. So Matt is in fact correct. So here is where I will agree with him and where I will disagree and accuse him of rank idolatry. Number one, if you're going to burn something, you should own it. It needs to be yours and not somebody else's. But I don't think that's a real issue. Do you think these flag burners are going and like running to Walmart and stealing some flag and then burning it? I think they probably bought it and it was probably made in China, which makes it even more funny that he's so upset about it being burned. Number two, you can't endanger other people. I think that with everything. You can't endanger other people. Like, I am sitting here right now enjoying a margarita. I am endangering nobody. But, you know, I could be if I were out driving a car. And that's about it. Now, why is he holding this cloth? This whatever. I don't have a cloth here. Do I? Yeah. I've got a blanket here. It's probably got spiders in it, though, so you might hear me go shrieking. Why is he holding a magic cloth with such reverence? I thought he was a Christian. The only thing we should be holding in such reverence isn't even symbols of God. It's God himself. There's a reason why one of the commandments is not to make any graven images. This is just another graven image. It's idolatry. And he's supposed to be this devout Catholic. I can understand you being offended at perhaps the imagery. Because again, I'm not patriotic in the slightest. And I was uncomfortable. I wasn't uncomfortable because of some weird patriotism for the country. I was uncomfortable because people I love live here. And I've got good memories here, and it's perfectly human and natural to have a love for the place of your birth. But really, that's all I have to say. I would be very, very interested in your thoughts. I will not be recording tomorrow because, as Mike Seebeck has pointed out, if y'all saw that bow, I like doing archery. If y'all saw that bow picture of me the other day, because my roots are like so, let me try to do the way my hair was like this. And people were like saying I had a bald spot. No, it's just called roots. See that big like spot right there? That's not a bald spot. That's just my roots. I don't have any bald spots. I mean, I'd admit it if I did. But no, it's just my roots. My roots have gotten like 3 inches long. I mean, they look at this. They're getting there. So if I'm going to be a pink hair in court, I'm not going to be a 3-inch roots pink-haired in court. So tomorrow night, Wayne is helping me do my hair. That's when you know you have a good husband, when he'll help you dye your hair. So I will not be doing a show on Wednesday. I'll be repinking my hair. I might be invited to be doing another show on Thursday. If so, I'll give you details. If not, maybe I will come on here and give you details. Next Sunday, Mike Seebeck and I should be doing Cult of RONR. And another show I'd like to do is in Colorado, the GOP is having a very interesting legal battle. And it is an intersection of my talents of knowing about the law and knowing about parliamentary procedure. So that might be burped. That might be an interesting show. So once again, I would appreciate your patronage, and please subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Love you. Mi guapas de libertad. And one thing to the haters.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians, or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to